The Buffalo Bills have made a plethora of moves since my video came out last night, so I'm going to be going into everything that the Buffalo Bills have done, including 3 signings that the Bills have made so far. But before getting to this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. I know you guys can get me there with all the Bills Mafia love. Let's get straight into this video. So the first signing that the Buffalo Bills made last night after the signing of D. Alford was quarterback Kyle Allen. He signed a 2-year, $4.1 million deal worth up to $6.1 million with the team. He will now be the new backup quarterback to Josh Allen. This comes just hours after Mitch Wishnowsky signed with the Tennessee Titans to become their new backup quarterback to Cam Ward. And now Kyle Allen will be coming back to Buffalo, where he was our backup back in, I believe, 2023. So Kyle Allen will be returning to Buffalo. Let's get into this next Buffalo Bills signing that the team made, and that's going to be the Bills are re-signing punter Mitch Wishnowsky. Not the most exciting news, but he was one of the best punters in the NFL last year with the Buffalo Bills. So, I mean, as much as, you know, this is kind of like a joke, like you can see my top comment, I said Bills getting active. It's true. The Bills, you know, this is one of the best punters in the NFL. While you're not going to get too excited over it, it's a good move that the Buffalo Bills have made. The Bills made one more signing that we're going to get into before we get into everything else in this video today. And that is that the Buffalo Bills and Dawson Knox have agreed on a new 3-year contract. Now, don't freak out, Bills fans. I guarantee that the money will not be crazy on this at all. And I can almost guarantee that this will lower the cap hit for Dawson Knox this season. And he probably did take a pay cut as well. Now, Bills fans, really quickly, we're going to take a look at Dawson Knox's spot track page. So you see that in 2027 and 2028, he had void years left on his deal. So he would still be making 1.8, or what is that, $1.1 million per year over the next 2 years to not be on this team, which isn't a crazy amount. But considering the $17 million he's making this year, I can easily see how the Bills probably didn't extend him to have that much more money over the course of his deal, but maybe he's just spread out that money over these next 2 years. So that's why it's a 3-year extension. But those years are basically already in place, so it's not like it's gonna have too big of a hit on our future cap space. So Bills fans, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was not a big fan of the re-signing. So I honestly just wanted him cut, but he is a good depth piece. He's a good friend of Josh Allen. He loves Dalton Kincaid. He's a good locker room guy, good guy in Buffalo. So I'm not too mad that it happened. And with looking at the money, I think this would just benefit every single party. That's going to do it for the new signing for the Buffalo Bills. So Dawson Knox is back. Kyle Allen comes back to the team after 2 years away. And then Mitch Wishnowsky returns on a punter deal. But let's get into some other news regarding cap space. So the Bills and kicker Tyler Bass agreed to a revised contract that includes $1 million guaranteed and a chance to earn up to $3.5 million in 2026. Bass missed the 2025 season because of injury, so a pay cut was inevitable, but he can earn it all back through incentives and an escalator. So Tyler Bass is going to be locked in as the Bills kicker in 2026. That is what this tweet reads to me. He took a pay cut, which thank you Tyler Bass, but he is going to be our kicker in 2026 just because of the fact that the Bills went out of their way to make this kind of contract for Tyler Bass. And I'm not too upset over it because Tyler Bass has been a good kicker for the Buffalo Bills in the past. However, he also has had his fair share of mistakes as the kicker of the Buffalo Bills, notably that game-losing kick in the 2023 divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe 2024. Just devastating wide right part 2. Don't love it at all, but Tyler Bass is going to be back as the Bills kicker in 2026 after suffering from a sports hernia, we found out, throughout all of 2025. So hopefully that he's recovering well, hopefully he's kicking well, and we will see you on the field in 2026, Tyler Bass. That's really going to do it for all the Bills players on the team. Now we're going to be getting into some rumors and updates when it comes to the team over the next couple of days in free agency. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is free agent wide receivers that are still left in free agency, because as you guys know, a bunch of guys were signed yesterday. So these are the top remaining free agent wide receivers left: Juwan Jennings, Romeo Doubs, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Darnell Mooney, Deebo Samuel, Hollywood Brown, Christian Kirk, Calvin Austin, and DeAndre Hopkins. Now, my initial take is Juwan Jennings is going to be too expensive. Romeo Doubs, I want him, but he might be too expensive as well. I can see the Patriots going after him if they've missed out on every other wide receiver so far. And with the bag that Alec Pierce got, I can see Romeo Doubs getting a lot more money than he probably should be getting. Tyreek Hill might not even play next year, so I'm good. Keenan Allen's a little bit too old for me, and he's a slot receiver, so I don't see how that would fit. Darnell Mooney is a guy who I'm kind of interested in. I'm not as high on him as other Bills fans are, but I think he could be a pretty good option for us. Deebo Samuel, a little bit older, but I could kind of see the fit, kind of maybe. Hollywood Brown would be a good deep threat option. Christian Kirk is one of Josh Allen's best friends. So there's a world where Christian Kirk just becomes a Buffalo Bill. He was not that good last year, but 2 years ago he was absolutely phenomenal. So Christian Kirk could still have some upside. I'm working with Josh Allen. Maybe that connection would be really good on the football field because they are best friends in real life. Calvin Austin is a guy who I wanted in the draft 4 years back, I guess now. He was pretty productive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not too sure if the Bills will be going after him. I haven't seen any rumors or connections of that. But I also didn't see any connections to D. Alford. So we'll see what happens there. And as for DeAndre Hopkins, he's a declining veteran who I'm kind of good on signing him. So that is it. Free agent wide receivers. Bills fans, you let me know in the comment section down below, out of all of these wide receivers who are still remaining on the board, which of them would you like the Buffalo Bills to be going after? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, Kevin Syracuse on X, he tweeted out day 2 free agency targets for the Buffalo Bills. So take a look through this list as well. And you guys let me know in the comment section down below. You can either listen to my rant or you cannot. Just let me know in the comment section down below. Out of these guys, who would you want the team to bring in? So his free agency targets are going to be Trey Hendrickson, who I think is going to be too expensive for the team, but it would still be a big pickup if we can somehow find a cap space for him. Jonathan Greenard is a different case where we would be trading for him from the Minnesota Vikings. If we can get him for a 3rd round draft choice, I think that'd be absolutely phenomenal. However, I just don't see how we could have the cap space for him because he is going to be making $19 million this season. And after trading for DJ Moore already, I don't see how another guy with that big of a cap hit could fit on this team. But then moving into the rest of the guys, we have Sebastian Joseph Day, Dalvin Tomlinson, DJ Reader, who's a guy who I really want the team to be signing today. I think that would be a huge pickup for the Bills on the defensive line. Then we have Jack Sanborn and Leo Chenal, who both played linebacker at Wisconsin under Jim Leonhard in 2019 to 2022. I think they would both be phenomenal pickups for the Bills. If you guys have been watching any of my videos this offseason, you know that Leo Chenal is my #1 free agency target for the Buffalo Bills. So hopefully the Bills can ink him to a deal today. And if not, Jack Sanborn is a good consolation prize because he has also been a productive player in the NFL. Not to the level of Leo Chenal, but he also has that connection to Jim Leonhard. I still think he would be a good fit in this Buffalo Bills new defense. Moving on from then, Keaton Ellis would also be a good fit. He could be a little bit more expensive though. So do I want him? Yes, but I want to get a bunch of good guys on defense, not just one. And Keaton Ellis, he would be a good player, but I don't see how we could sign him and then also get another impact player on the defensive side of the ball. So that's just kind of where I stand on that. Then when it comes to Dre Greenlaw, he was released, as you guys saw in my video last night. He was released as I was recording the video. And that was kind of a big breaking news because when you think about it, Dre Greenlaw was probably one of the better players on the Denver Broncos defense with Jim Leonhard being there. However, his injuries are the reason why he was probably released. So Dre Greenlaw does suffer from injury. He does have an injury history. Most notably his torn Achilles in the Super Bowl, just jogging out onto the field. So that's very unfortunate. But he is still a very good player. I think that the Bills would definitely benefit a lot from him being on the team. But then we got to get into some safeties. PJ Locke and Andre Sisco. PJ Locke would be coming from the Denver Broncos. I see that fit as being seamless. We'll get into a guy I really wanted the Bills to sign who ended up going to the Houston Texans in just a moment. And then for the offensive line, we have Wyatt Teller and Ryan Bates. Now, Wyatt Teller, if we can get him on a relatively cheap deal, I would absolutely love that to be the new left guard of the Buffalo Bills. Because as you guys know, the Bills drafted him back in 2017. It was the last draft before Brandon Beane took over. I stand corrected in one of my videos that that was Brandon Beane's first draft. But it was the last draft before he took over, and Brandon Beane traded him just a year into his career with the Buffalo Bills. And ended up being an all-pro guard for the Cleveland Browns. So I think Brandon Beane could right that wrong, bring Wyatt Teller back, give you a star left guard for the Buffalo Bills, as David Edwards did leave the team yesterday to go to the New Orleans Saints. So we definitely have a need at the position. I think Wyatt Teller would fit in perfectly on that offensive line. Again, the other guys, Brendan Cooks, Tutu Atwell, and Diami Brown for wide receiver. Now, Brendan Cooks is a guy who I do want back at wide receiver. I do not think that he's the only move that the Buffalo Bills can make at receiver. Now let's get into that other move that I think the Buffalo Bills could be making at wide receiver, and one that is cap compliant. It would not take a lot of cap space for the Buffalo Bills to make this move. And that's going to be trading for wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm sorry if my camera is lagging at all. I don't know how to fix that. But Brian Thomas Jr. is a wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You guys all know he was a first-round pick just a couple years ago. Had a down year last year, but can still be a very productive player in the NFL. I believe he had 87 catches and 10 touchdowns in his rookie year. And as you see, if we trade for Brian Thomas Jr., the cap hits over the next 2 years would just be under $3 million. And in 2028, we have the 5th-year option on him. So Brian Thomas Jr. would be a phenomenal pickup for the Buffalo Bills if he can make that trade happen, but it might take a first-round pick to do so. But Bills fans, that is it for this Buffalo Bills free agency frenzy update today. This morning, I'll be back tonight with another video. Let me know in the comment section